Hey guys, welcome to my The Fosters chat. I hope you're all having a wonderful evening. Please feel free to leave any comments, questions, or anything like that in the chat, and I will definitely get to it along the way. But what a crazy, crazy, crazy episode we had this week. Honestly, I have never experienced such a crazy episode from The Fosters. I mean, and I'm used to watching crazy episodes. If anyone else watches Pretty Little Liars, you know what I mean. That show is intense. The Fosters for me is a sort of a nice show. It's a nice way to wind down at the end of the day. But let me tell you, if you've seen the episode, and that is season 4, then you know exactly what I mean. This episode was totally crazy. So I'm going to start talking about it. If anyone has anything they want to say along the way, please feel free to do so. Okay, so the episode opens up with Steph and Lena trying to talk to the kids about. They're trying to have a family meeting, of course, about the house because, as we know, they need to sell the house to help out Lena's father, who's gotten himself into a bit of a situation. And they really can't seem to get the kids' attention for some reason. It's not working out. And suddenly, Steph pipes up and says, Mama and I are filing for divorce. Can you believe it? That shocked me. And I tell you what, I sat there for the hour-long episode just having no idea where this was going because these two characters are probably one of the strongest couples I've seen in a very long time. I never thought anything could break them apart, so it really freaked me out. So what did you think about that? If you're watching this, if you're not watching this live, that's fine. Comment below and let me know, as I always say. So we move on, and that catches the kids' attention. We move on, and the episode continues, but it goes back 36 hours. So obviously, we're going to spend the rest of this episode trying to work out why the heck Steph and Lena are apparently going to be filing for divorce because it really doesn't make sense. What big thing has happened to make them make this decision? I mean, it's crazy, right? So this real estate agent that they've hired is showing this pregnant couple around the house, and it's really intrusive. Steph is really not in favor of it at all. But apparently Lena had agreed to it the night before. She just hadn't mentioned it to Steph, and this causes a bit of a tiff and a rift between the two. Not enough, I would say, for them to file for divorce, but it certainly did cause a rift between them. So that was an interesting scene. It does, however, culminate in a flashback of the first time that they are checking out the house. And obviously, Lena is completely in love with it, but Steph doesn't quite know if she wants the house or not. And Lena says that her parents are more than happy to help put a down payment onto the house. So that explains how they ended up on the mortgage in the first place. It now makes more sense. And Steph eventually gives in, and it's a beautiful flashback. I absolutely, and I have to say that Terry Polo and Sherry Saul are fantastic actresses. Just want to give a shout out to them there because honestly, I love those two. They're so very convincing, and what a great couple. I mean, Stephanie is definitely the strong one, I would say, out of the two, where Lena is definitely the compassionate one, and they both play their roles very, very well. So Kelly and Jude are still fighting over this whole Noah marijuana situation. And honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sort of over it because, I mean, this happened like 2 episodes ago. But it does bring up something really interesting, which is where is Jude every other week? Because last week, when they did the whole robotics competition, everyone was in the episode except for Jude. And I feel like this is happening far too much lately. Now, I understand that, at the time, Hayden was, probably too young when the show first started to be in every single episode, but he's certainly not too young now. So I don't really understand why he's not in every episode. If anyone knows why he's not, certainly comment below and let me know because it makes no sense to me. I haven't done any research on if he's in another show and if they have to sort of work around other commitments that he has. Because I know with some actors, they don't just do one show. Some might be filming 2 shows at the one time or 2 shows in the 1 year or something like that. I don't know if Hayden is doing that or not, but I feel like there are a lot of things that happen in this show that are fantastic, but I don't think there's anything that was more groundbreaking than what happened, than the whole Jonah situation between Jude and Connor, or Jonah, however you say it. So yeah, very disappointed that we don't always see Jude, and now we are, and he's still fighting with Kelly all this time later over this whole marijuana thing. Now, if you don't remember, Jude has, I guess you could say, fallen in love with this guy Noah. Noah is, funny enough, a minister's son, and so that was, we dealt with that crazy issue quite a few episodes ago now, and they certainly seem to have formed a relationship, and that seems to be true in this episode. Um, they get together, and Noah tries to go a little bit further than Jude wants to, but it does seem like their relationship is moving from strength to strength. So, do you ship these two together? I wonder what we call this situation. Do we call it Joa? I don't know, but I don't mind these two. I don't mind Noah. I don't have any issues with him. I am a huge Jonah fan. Like, seriously, if they can just bring Connor back and put him back into the Fosters, I would be really, really happy. So, what's your thought? Do you ship Jude and Noah, or would you prefer to have Connor back in the picture? I mean, Jude has dated a few people over the series. Some of them I don't like, some of them I do. As I said, I don't mind Noah, but I would prefer Connor at the drop of a hat. And speaking of Connor, where is Gavin McIntosh? Like, I really don't understand what they've done with him. The kiss those two shared together, I'm sorry, but in my mind, that was groundbreaking. I've never seen such a young gay kiss on network television before, and I thought that was fantastic. So why did they then all of a sudden get rid of Gavin McIntosh, who plays Connor? That just doesn't make any sense. So what's he doing, and what's his excuse? Why is he not on the show? If you know, comment below and certainly let me know. So Kelly and this Aaron guy, and I think this Aaron guy is fantastic. I'm not really chuffed with AJ, so I'm not going to mention too many things that happen with Kelly and AJ. But I actually don't mind Aaron, and I would ship them together, to be totally honest. But Kelly and Aaron, they do some sleuthing to find out what they can to help that former foster brother of Kelly's that we know is in jail at the moment. He's been accused of killing a woman, and he swears that he didn't do it, and they've been finding a lot of evidence to suggest that that actually is the case. Um, they come across this guy, and I've forgotten his name, but this guy was telling them about how there was this shady guy that was spray painting numbers. He was a curb painter who was painting numbers on curbs. And the guy was telling them that it was a whole scam, that, it's something like tick the box here if you don't want it to happen. So, obviously people that don't read it don't tick the box, and apparently he got really angry with people who wouldn't pay up, so making him really sketchy. So they go to check this guy out, and his house is dilapidated, to put it one way. As Kelly says, he basically lives behind a jungle because all of the weeds and grass outside the house is completely overgrown, and he certainly comes across as a very, very, very suspicious sort of character. Um, so they basically are, so, just sitting out there waiting for him to come home. They're doing a sort of stakeout, I guess, if you will, waiting for the guy to come home. And when he comes home, they find out actually that it's an adult, and Kelly is actually smart for the first time in a very long time. And she says, you know what, let's leave the detective work to the adults, because Steph and Lena had told her, you got to stop doing all this and leave it to us. And so Kelly actually agrees at that moment and says, let's leave the detective work to the actual detectives. We end up finding out Stephanie does some sleuthing of her own, and she ends up talking to some kid who apparently reported something to do with the case. I'm a little fuzzy on what it was. I think he was actually abused um, by this person that killed her as well, or something like that. But then he dropped his testimony, and Steph went to find out, what was going on, and he seemed obviously rather shaken up by having to talk about it, because this happened 4 years ago, so he's not really thinking about it right now and probably doesn't even want to revisit those memories. But Steph, was fantastic. And she said, look, I can see that you're scared and I understand that, but you really can trust me. I am a police officer, so you can really can trust me. And he admits to her that there was this detective, I think his name is Detective Gray or something. Um, and this Detective Gray apparently convinced him to drop the statement that he made. So Steph's obviously not happy about that, and she's going to find out what's going on there. Um, so in the meantime, Kelly must have told Steph or tell Steph about this Mr. Harvey person who was the guy that painted the numbers on the curves. So Steph and Mike go to check it out and they talk to him. He is very, very, very sketchy. I don't trust him for 1 minute. Unlike Pretty Little Liars, when things happen in the Fosters, you believe them. Very rarely is there a red herring in the Fosters. So I believe this guy did it 1000%. And I think they just need to find something that will actually connect him to the crime. But time will tell if they actually manage to do that. Okay, so B has traveled to New York because he has an audition at Juilliard. Before he goes, however, he packs up his stuff at his girlfriend's place. You're going to have to forgive me because I've forgotten what her name is. I never liked her. I never really cared about her. And quite frankly, I liked her when he first met her. But ever since B was introduced to her son, I think she views him more as a babysitter than a partner. So if you disagree with me, that's absolutely fine. Comment below and let me know. But I never really liked her at all. So she wakes up to find him packing, and this is at the start of the episode. And she says goodbye to him, that she loves him. And it takes B quite a while to actually reciprocate the words, I love you too. So you can tell that they're on the rocks there for a moment. B has this wonderful discussion with Steph as well in the episode, and Steph actually apologizes for kicking him out. She realizes that she was a big part of the reason why he was kicked out. So that was a very nice scene there. So he is now in New York preparing for his audition for Juilliard, and he meets this girl who is meant to be his roommate. But the problem is that her name is Ariel. She calls herself Ari, and so everyone always seems to think that she's a guy. And so that's why Brandon was meant to be rooming with her. Brandon fixes up the situation, but later on in the evening, he goes out and wants to have a tour of New York, just, have a bit of a walk around, see Times Square, things like that. And she bumps into him. She's meant to be going to this party, but she blows it off to spend some time with B, and they end up having a really great discussion. And she makes these really good points about how he's there at Juilliard, and to audition for Juilliard, and if he ends up getting in, it's going to be tough for him to cope with all the amount of work that Juilliard's going to give him, and to deal with the fact that he has a girlfriend as well back at home. And she also thinks he might partially self-sabotage himself because of her. So I think all of those points are very good points. I'm actually really happy that she made them. But she then actually goes a step further, and I really like this girl. Thumbs up if you agree with me, if you think Ari is awesome, because Ari convinces him to write this letter and break up with her before he auditions so that nothing holds him back and so that he can be free. He writes the letter. We don't see it happen, but we see him walking down the street with the envelope and going to put the letter into the post box, the mailbox, I should say. And he sort of hesitates for a moment, and I don't know, sort of knowing the amount we do after 4 seasons, I really didn't think he was going to do it, but he posted the letter, and I am so happy he did. Yay, a big thumbs up from me. If you agree, certainly comment below and let me know, because I was just so happy with that. So hopefully that means it's over now. So Kelly, meanwhile, goes back to this Mr. Harvey's house after she said that she wouldn't do anything. Now she's going back anyway because she wants to see if she can get some sort of DNA, because she's had this discussion with Aaron and she asked him, will DNA make any sort of a difference? Like, could it help, I guess reopen the case? And he says that it could. He never says yes, but he said that it could. And I think right now Kelly is trying to cling on to absolutely anything she can to help her former foster brother. So she goes back to this Mr. Harvey guy's house, and and that's all great, but during this time he has this dog, and the dog starts barking, and she goes to pat the dog to pacify it, which is fantastic, good on her. But she spends so much time with the dog that really, as a viewer, then see that he is actually pulling up in his drive. I don't understand why she did that. Like, seriously, all she needed was DNA. Why didn't you just go in there, grab the toothbrush, and get right back out? Like, really, what's going on there? I don't know. Um, so we'll have to see what happens. But she has the toothbrush now, and obviously she has his DNA. If he uses that toothbrush, who knows? Because this guy is clearly a hoarder. He has so many things in his house and outside his house that he admitted to Steph and Mike that he just sort of goes to the tip and grabs things, to recycle. It's a likely story, but anyway. Um, so yeah, who knows what's going to happen there. Now, speaking of Kelly, let's quickly talk about her sister, Mariana. I love Mariana. I've loved her ever since, the very first episode. And the girl that plays her, which is Sierra Ramirez, I think she's absolutely fantastic. She's a great actress. And she's, had many great scenes. But one thing I don't understand is in season one, she was taking Jesus's ADD medication. And now, apparently, she's taking them again. And I don't really understand why she's doing it again. Like, maybe there's a reason for her to do that, and that's all well and good. But from a writer's point of view, why would you go and revisit the same thing that you did in season one? It just makes no sense to me whatsoever. Um, but apparently, she's doing it again. And as we saw in the last episode, Lena is actually quite worried about her because she was quite, rude and snapped at her quite a bit at the robotics competition. So I think we're being led to believe right now that Mariana is being quite affected, obviously, by the whole Nick situation. And she's being not only affected, but being affected in a pretty profound way, that's for sure. So Brandon ends up succeeding at his Juilliard audition. I mean, who didn't think he would? I honestly felt that if anything would stand in the way, it would be nerves because I have to say, I don't know if David Lambert actually plays the piano himself in the show, or if he just does the fingering and they dub it over. But if he actually plays the piano himself, then seriously, the kid is an amazing piano player. Like, I could listen to him all day. He is fantastic. So the only thing that would ever stand in his way of succeeding at the audition would have been nerves or choking. Other than that, he should definitely have passed the audition. And I think if he was nervous or if he was choking, we would have seen that in the first couple of seconds. And the first couple of seconds, he seemed absolutely fine at his audition. That's all we saw, but he seemed absolutely fine. Didn't seem to have one issue. I don't know what the melody was that he was playing for his audition, but if you guys know, comment below and let me know, because I would love to hear the whole score of that. Because yeah, I really loved that. So he gets in, he comes home in the middle of the night to Steph and Lena, and they're really excited. Obviously they're trying to keep everything hush hush because everyone else is asleep, but they're very excited for him because apparently he killed his audition, which is great. Now, I don't know if that means he got in or if he just did well. I know that some schools, I mean, some audition places will tell you right away if you're not. If you're not, some places they don't tell you. They just say, well done, good job, whatever, we'll let you know. So I don't know if he's in, but all we know is that he killed the audition. So, bravo, Brandon. I really do hope that he gets in because he's amazing. And I know that he will go very far with this if he does get in. He definitely deserves it for sure. And I think my prediction, I'm going to make a prediction. I think something's going to happen between Brandon and Ari. I don't know what will happen, but I think at the very least they'll kiss or something. I think they'll probably end up in a relationship. And you know what? I definitely ship Bri. Brari. I don't know. I guess we'll probably call it Brari. I mean, Brandon and Ari. Or Brariel. I don't know. But I definitely will ship them because the reason that I would do that over the girl that he was with is because they both seem to head in the same direction. Despite the fact that he's in music and she's in dance, you know, they would both be putting their lives on hold to focus solely on the performing arts. And they'll both be able to understand the pressure they're going through. They can relate to each other. So I just think that that would all be really perfect. And big thumbs up for them, for Ferrari and or Ferrario or whoever they are. If you agree, thumbs up and comment below and let me know. If you disagree, let me know why, because everyone's opinion is definitely valid. So we finally get to the end of the episode, and seriously, I am worried about every little thing. Actually, just quickly before we get there, I will mention quickly about the whole Kelly AJ thing. I do not like AJ. Like, can I just make that quite clear? I'm not a fan of his, and his jealousy is annoying the heck out of me. Every time he sees Aaron, he makes such a big deal over Aaron. And quite frankly, the more he does, the more I want him to leave and Aaron to be with Kelly. But anyway, that's just me. Um, Anyway, so throughout the episode, they've been trying to, how do I keep this PG? Do it, I guess. And something always seems to stand in their way. So the first time they did was in Kelly's room, and the real estate agent was showing the couple around. So obviously they got caught in the act, and that didn't work. Then they tried to do it in this empty apartment that's near Mike's place. But Mike has told Steph that they could possibly rent that place out while they were looking for another one if, when they were selling their house. So Steph comes over and they're almost caught there too and they have to hide in the closet. The reason I'm mentioning this is because while AJ and Kelly are hiding in the closet, Mike goes on this big tirade about how much he hates, well, I wouldn't say hates Kelly, but how upset he is with Kelly and everything that Kelly has done. He feels like she ruined Brandon's life, and he doesn't want her ruining AJ's life. And Kelly had to listen to all this, and it was very, very disappointing. And something that I really didn't want Kelly to hear, because Kelly's finally, I don't want to say being normal, because that's not the right word, but Kelly finally seems settled. So this is the last thing she needs, and it looked like it totally broke her. So I really felt for Kelly. Did you? If you did, thumbs up and comment below and let me know. So anyway, we get to the end of the episode, and I have to say, I was still questioning at this point why Lena and Steph were breaking up. Any little thing that happened, I questioned it. So, the whole thing that Kelly found out that Mike said, does Lena and Steph have different opinions on Kelly and that's why they break up? Do they find out that Kelly stole the toothbrush and then again they have different reactions, so that's why they break up? I mean, it just went on and on and on for me. Oh, yeah. Another thing that I forgot to mention, speaking of couples and getting caught, Jude decides that he is ready to do something with Noah, and it was so cute the way this happened. I mean, they approach a lot of Jude's relationships rather delicately, which I really do appreciate. And Noah apologizes for trying to take things too far, but Jude says, no, I am ready and all this. And, they both agree. Well, Noah says to Jude, I'm only happy to do what you're happy to do. So it looks like they're going to start getting into doing whatever it is. And then Steph and Lena run out to the garage, and I completely forget why, but they do. And it looks like, well, they're not having sex, which I honestly thought they would be. So I'm happy for Jude that they didn't get caught doing that. But it's worse. They're actually smoking, and they're caught smoking. So yeah, big issue there. Anyway, so this all culminates with everyone back in the lounge to what we saw at the start of the episode, where Steph and Lena are talking to everyone about the fact that they're filing for divorce. And the reason they're filing for divorce is as follows. Lena gets a call from the government saying that everything is fine and they don't have to sell the house anymore, to cut a long story short. So everyone's reacting like, oh my God, why are you getting divorced? Like I am going, what the hell is going on here? Like I was screaming the whole episode going, why? Was that it? What the hell? Like, why are these two splitting up? This is so dumb. And they said, look, no, you're getting it wrong. We're not actually, breaking up. We're just legally filing for divorce. And the reason for that is we no longer have to sell the house, but we're already in escrow because they end up being in escrow with this pregnant couple. So if we file for divorce, they'll freeze our assets. And hopefully that will motivate them to, well, to put it my way, to go away. So, so it's, I don't want to say it's a stunt, but it sort of is like a stunt. So yeah, I think it's not a bad idea, but wow, they did really well because they, you know, like full on sucked me in to the episode from the get go. Where normally this is such an easy breezy show. I mean, I'm not saying that action doesn't happen because it does, but it's not. It doesn't make you think 24/7 because as action packed as it is, I feel like it's quite one dimensional. But this episode just wow freaked me out so much. I really have to give a big credit to Peter Page. I don't know if any of you guys watched Queer as Folk, but Queer as Folk was when I was younger, when it was being, you know, aired on TV. When it was originally airing. I was much younger, so Queer as Folk was like my one religion. I would come home and I would turn off my phone and tell everyone to not bother me because I was watching Queer as Folk, and I've never done that with any other show, but I did it with Queer as Folk and I absolutely loved it. And if you haven't seen the show, Queer as Folk, as the name suggests, is predominantly about gay characters and things that they go through. Peter Page, who is the director of The Fosters, played quite an effeminate gay character by the name of Emmett Honeycutt. And Emmett was one of those, you know, as I say, quite effeminate, very much a fabulous sort of character, rather than discreet or whatever. So the fact that he's come from Queer as Folk to doing a show like this, I think is absolutely fantastic. And it doesn't surprise me that Steph and Lena are a lesbian couple. Like, it's very easy to put two and two together. I was saying this to someone the other day that I can easily picture Peter Page in a meeting with some head exec of some, I don't know, station. And the head exec smoking his cigar says, so, you know, the couple is a lesbian couple. Why do we need that? And I can easily see someone like Peter Page turning around saying, well, why not? You know, because that's the sort of guy that he is. So it doesn't surprise me that there is a lesbian couple on the show. But I think that makes it, in a way, even better because, like some other gay shows, there's no apology made for it. And I don't mind everything that Jude is dealing with because, you know, he's a child and he's getting used to it, his sexuality, and I get that. But there's nothing worse than dealing with that in other environments. And when you look at a show, for example, like Will and Grace, I remember watching a behind the scenes thing of Will and Grace, and the one of the creators of the show was saying one of the things we always wanted to make sure we did was not apologize for the fact that they were gay. There was no coming out of the closet or anything like that. They just were. The Fosters does the same thing with Steph and Lena. There's no tippy-toeing or, you know, pussyfooting around everything. They just are a lesbian character, and, you know, this family just happens to have two mums, and that's just the way it is. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. Well, we're coming to the end of this video now, so thank you very much for tuning in. As I say, leave all your comments and questions below. I get back to each and every one of you. I absolutely love this show. And I feel like while people watch enough for it to remain on the air, I feel like it is quite an unrated show. Unrated, is that the word I'm after? It's just, I feel like the show should be bigger. It should be more popular than it is because it's a fantastic show. Do you agree with me or do you disagree? Well, anyway, I don't know how many episodes we have till the Fosters goes on break. I know that Pretty Little Liars is one more episode, and then that's the mid-season finale. So if the Fosters is the same, then they'll be the same because they're up to the same number of episodes. So it's possible we have only one more episode until the mid-season finale. But looking at the promo for next week, it looks like it's going to be a really awesome episode. So yeah, comment below and let me know what you thought of my recap, and if you liked it, we'll do another one for next week. But until then, I am Francois T. Thank you so much for joining me. And remember, it's not where you come from, it is where you belong. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.